Let's get into the wins and fails. First up, we have a major win in the dangerous war zone that is fast food marketing. The man who revealed Drake's hidden child, Pusha T, was hired to write a diss track for Arby's.
I'm the reason the whole world love it. Now I gotta crush it. Filet your fishes, then you should be disgusted. I could sell water to a whale. How could you ever think I'd fail?
The irony of the line, I could sell water to a whale, while you're selling like bad fish to overweight Americans. Anyway, from Arby's POV, it's a big win. It's a smart idea. It's funny. It's clever. From Pusha T's side, you know, I don't know how much he needs the money. For example, if you were Drake, this is like, you could just play this song in full as your comeback. It completely like undercuts your, you know, your sort of cred. But what's unique about it, what's interesting about it is that you guys might know this, Pusha T actually wrote the iconic I'm Loving It.
Rock to the beat, hungry for the music, gotta eat. I'm loving it, I'm loving it. It's a machine, I'm loving it.
So he has this thing where he felt underpaid. And so I assume this is his way to get not only back at McDonald's a little bit, but get probably a much better deal on this Arby's campaign. Pretty clever. Hashtag Arby's paid me, but I would say this anyway. So if you guys don't know, especially at a celebrity level of this size, you are required by the FTC to disclose in your hashtags, usually with a hashtag ad. But because hashtag ad kills your engagement, everyone tries to find ways to say it in different ways, like EA partner or something like that. And so this is like the biggest, most egregious push that I've seen. Hashtag Arby's paid me, but I would say this anyway. It's very... All right, so that's a win. Pusha T, good for you getting back at McDonald's. Let me get a fail though. I mean, this is a cool announcement. There's just one line I want to call out. The new Witcher got announced. Red Engine, the technology which powers Cyberpunk 2077, is still being used for the development of the upcoming Cyberpunk expansion. Oh, also for this. They're switching to Unreal Engine 5, but they're also using Red Engine for the tech of this. You can literally see when the game came out. They can get back on track with it. I mean, The Witcher 3 sold amazing, was a huge part of their success and brand. Cyberpunk definitely hurt their brand in a major way. In a major way, dude. People joke about CDPR now. Isn't that crazy? They're like a butt of a joke. And like 1 year ago, it was like they were like FromSoft is now. Big fingers crossed, but I think we all collectively are not going to like have the same level of hype. Going to invest now, I believe. That's a great segue, because if you felt like investing, if you felt like buying the dip, I don't recommend. This is not financial advice. You can use public.com. Put your money where your heart is. Shout out public.com for sponsoring Marketing Monday. Boom. Easy to invest. You can buy fractional shares of stocks for one. Like if you want to buy a share of Amazon that's $3,000, you can buy like 10% of a share. And if it goes up, it'll go up at exactly the same rate. So you can buy whatever amount you feel comfortable with for any stock. What I think is a fun thing to do is buy $10 worth of a stock just to like track it. So a lot of value in that. Also, most importantly to me, there's a competitor I think we all know about. That's a big phone trading app. This app is literally as easy to use, as clean, and does not make its money by selling the information on your trades to hedge funds. Public does not do that. You can look it up. It's been independently verified by many third parties. I checked myself before I agreed to this sponsorship. It also has a social feed and ways to track and follow investors. You can follow me on there and see what I'm investing. If you sign up, you can get up to $300 in a free stock right now. Back to the wins and fails. Big ass huge win on Elden Ring, which is still putting up insane numbers. 700K concurrent players daily on Steam weeks after launch. This is so uncommon. I think most of you have seen like a new game will launch. It'll be in the top 5 on Twitch, top of Steam for the launch week. That's it. Elden Ring has stayed at the top of YouTube viewership, Twitch viewership, and Steam player base. Like it's got legs in a way that many other games don't have. And it actually has moved up to become the second most played game on Xbox behind Fortnite. That means literally more people are playing Elden Ring on Xbox than COD Warzone, which is absurd. It's still probably not quite going to happen, but it's reasonable to assume that it could pass the sales of every other FromSoft game combined. Here's a win and a fail. Netflix is currently the king of the streaming wars, but everyone's coming for their throne. And they have taken on a lot of debt to afford the content lineup that they want. You know, creating original content is much more expensive than just borrowing it from someone else and paying a licensing fee, which explains why they've suddenly made a huge push into combating password sharing. Because if they look at the numbers, everyone's using Netflix, but not everybody's paying for it. And you know what? When they were growing, they didn't care as much, which is why I found this. Love is sharing a password. I guess they're over love. The FTC has spent the past like 20 years basically allowing every single merger to happen. In fact, in America, we don't even require FTC approval to do a big merger. If you announce that you're gonna merge, like if you're a big fucking company and you're gonna merge with another big company, all you have to do is announce it. And if a certain amount of time passes and they don't stop you, it's considered good. But in this case, the Microsoft Activision deal, you guys remember that? The $70 billion biggest gaming acquisition in history? Well, the FTC woke up and they've had a request for additional info about the deal, which opens up an in-depth antitrust review of the acquisition. This doesn't mean it's going to get blocked or anything, but it means it's going to be a lot more effort. It's going to be a process. Everyone in leadership at Blizzard is basically abandoning ship and giving the reins over to Microsoft. Like they're planning on an exit. If for whatever reason this deal gets blocked, Activision Blizzard is fucked. I mean, it's going to collapse, dude. Now, realistically, judging on history, this will go through. It'll just be a song and dance. They'll check it through to make sure because it's a big deal, but they'll allow it. But just want to open that as an option. This is not a win. Oh, this is a win. This is a huge win. It's not about marketing or business. I found this video on YouTube and wanted to share it with you, okay? Sometimes you have to fucking put in a little fun. This is Jay-Z doing the intro instead of Princess Peach of Mario 64.
Dear Mario, please come to the castle. I had baked the cake for you. Yours truly, JC. Oh.
Okay, back to the wins of Phil. Sorry, I just thought that was cool. The Fed Chair Jerome Powell said the central bank will take the necessary steps to get inflation down, even if that means increasing interest rates more rapidly than currently anticipated. They basically announced they're going to do it today. Like I said in the inflation video, there's a fine line they walk, because if they can convince everybody that they're going to do it, if they can slam their fist and say it's going to happen, they can sort of scare the market into not anticipating higher inflation and then not actually have to do it. If they actually do it, it's gonna cause the stocks to crash. So they're trying to do is like pretend they're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. But they don't want to actually do it. So I don't know what this actually means. This seems like more posturing. The Fed's like a parent counting to 3. Exactly. Have you guys ever done that? I've seen what happened when the count finishes. They never know what to do. My mom never knew what to do. They just yell like they were doing before. First they're yelling, and then they get mad, and they're like, okay, now I'm counting. Now it's serious. And then we're done. They go back to exactly what they were doing before. I was gonna make a joke about how this is a huge win. Well, you know what? It is. I don't like the joke. Hey, this next graph is a huge win for the members of the silent generation like me, who are still hanging on. This is fraction of wealth owned. About 1/4 of all wealth owned by the silent generation. About 1/2 of all wealth owned by baby boomers. Another, let's say, 1/5 owned by Gen X. A tiny fraction owned by us millennials. Why aren't millennials buying homes and having kids? This is the answer. And then I don't really see Zoomers on this chart. But, you know, the real wealth is in friendships, which you also don't have. But the real wealth is in sex, which you also aren't having. But the real wealth is in number of Discord groups you're in, which Zoomers own 90% of the chart. Huge. The single statistically most populous age range is 30-year-old males, followed by 30-year-old females, followed by 29-year-old males, followed by 29-year-old females. Like, that's the 4 biggest groups in America right now. All of these groups have none of the money. If Apple Airpods was its own company, how big do you think that company would be? 3 to 5 billion? That's a lot. Top 500? You think it's a top 500 company in the world? Okay, not that big. It's bigger. If Apple Airpods was its own company, it would be bigger than Adobe, Uber, Nvidia, AMD, Spotify, Square, Twitter, Shopify, and Snapchat. Just behind Netflix. $23 billion in revenue on AirPods alone. Isn't that crazy? First of all, the markup on them is crazy. The margin is huge. And they sell a ton of them. If you guys know, we've been in a period called the Great Resignation. where a lot of people are quitting their jobs. Shockingly, the results, for them at least, have been quite good. More than half of Americans who quit their jobs last year are now earning more. This was a survey, which means it's fairly unreliable. However, wages are indeed up, but inflation is rising faster than pay for most American workers. So even though people are getting paid more, things are getting more expensive. Now, the fact that wages are going up is a good thing, but it can also lead to what's called a wage price spiral. Everything gets more expensive. So all the employees demand better wages. They're like, hey, we need to get paid more. Everything's too expensive. Companies hate raising wages. They hate it. They're absolutely loath to do it. They don't want to do it. So the only time companies will raise wages is if they can also raise prices to pass the cost on to the consumer. The problem is they raise wages, prices go up, everyone complains again, cycle continues. Wages go up, prices go up, wages go up, prices go up, wages go up. Everyone does it at the same time. And all of a sudden you're in a wage price cycle and your inflation gets out of control. And to break that, you pretty much have to, again, watch the inflation video, you have to raise interest rates. You have to cause some kind of like short-term recession. In lighter news, I want to give a win to somebody who figured out a way out of that system. If you can find a way to be your own best advocate, to negotiate strongly with big brands out there, then you can become like Clint Stevens, who it gets a massive win this week by revealing his patented strategy for negotiating with brands.
I don't really want to tweet about the PC you give me. I won't make a YouTube video. I hardly stream. I won't put a thing under the stream, and I don't want to talk about it on stream. But I would like a free PC. They said no.
When I first saw this clip, I busted out laughing, dude. That is the most gangster Sigma negotiating strategy ever. There's no value at all to the PC company, really. And those idiots said no. That's why they don't have a mind for business like Clint. Another big win this week for Tom Holland, who needed it. I feel like God has just dealt him one bad hand after the other. And finally he's getting dealt a good hand. Because guess what? Sony is working on a brand new live action God of War TV show. And if we know Sony, based on everything else they've done, they're going to cast Tom Holland in it. It's going to be amazing, dude. Maybe Chris Pratt. Oh, shit. Chris Pratt and Tom Holland. That is a cast, dude. Genius. It remains to be seen how all this stuff is doing. You know, Hollywood is looking to video games because video games continues to eat a larger share of the entertainment pie, especially among Zoomers. Zoomers are spending less and less time watching TV and more time gaming. And so Hollywood, because they can't make games, are looking to gaming IP to create the brands of the future. They want to create more gaming shows. Hopefully that will attract the audience. And so Uncharted, by the way, kind of a bad movie, kind of a mid to bad movie, doing amazing at the box office. Halo TV show coming out. A lot of attempts. We'll see how well they do. And generally in the past, they've done really poorly, but we'll see. Arcane is like the one notable exception.